Hello YouTube world, my name is Nicholas Montez and you're watching my YouTube channel, The Teenage Movie Critic, and welcome back to my YouTube channel everybody. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about the newest live-action Disney remake, Lilo and Stitch. Now, just to put in reference, I was kind of excited for this film. Because obviously, you know, Disney remakes aren't quite the best when it comes to Disney films, to Disney Studios films. Because sometimes they can be hit or miss. They can either give out great hits and do something really great and original. Really, the great ones for me have been only Jungle Book and Maleficent. I did love Lion King and Aladdin, but they were good because they were very nostalgia based. But they were very good renditions of them. But then you kind of get some disasters like, I don't know, the 102 Dalmatians, the Alice in Wonderland films. Part of it could be just I just don't like those franchises, I don't know. But with this one, I actually had a little bit of faith in it because on the one hand, I love the original Lilo and Stitch. And even though I love the original, I wasn't thinking this one was going to be better than the original, but I was thinking maybe that there could be something that could be worthy of a remake. Because Disney has done it before, like it won't be because if this magically happened to work and be the best remake, it would not be the first time. Jungle Book and Maleficent did it first, and they were amazing because they kind of switched the story around, and with Maleficent they switched the story around, and with Jungle Book they kind of changed the whole. They actually gave us an interesting story there. And with Lilo and Stitch, this story kind of works for live action because it's essentially an E.T. story of this alien who crashes down on Earth and learns to find a family and learns to care, learns to love and all that jazz, and while being a tribute to Elvis music and telling a story about sisterhood. And so, yeah, I just think all the elements worked here for live action remake, and I didn't put this one of my top 5 most anticipated films of the year. It probably would have been my top 10, but I needed to see a trailer for it, and I think just all the marketing for it just works, you know. Besides seeing this character Stitch himself, everything of it just looked great, whether it's like Nani and Lilo, or even the little clippets we've been seeing of Pleakley and Jumba. All of it's just been really cool. And so I think I just feel like I was in for a treat, and now that I've finally seen the film, I can definitely say it's good. I can't say that this is one of the best remakes. There's definitely a lot more better remakes this year. I'm actually going to put it right here. I think Snow White is better than this. That might be a hot take, because I think, you know, there's actually some people, I can't think of anyone that actually liked Snow White, because mostly everybody's hating on it, but also everybody just kind of does not like it as much. But with Lilo and Stitch, I thought it was a good adventure. To talk about the things I did like about the film, of course, Chris Sanders' Stitch is great. I thought his performance was great. He sounded exactly like Stitch from the original film. I think the things that we got with him, of course, we got some classic scenes, the original scenes with him, but at the same time, we actually got some pretty new bits that I thought were kind of nice, that were fun and exciting. And in some ways, they kind of fit the live-action format a lot well. So I thought that was kind of fun. Let's see. Another thing I love about the film, I love the girl that plays Lilo in the film. I thought she was great. And I loved the way that she felt like Lilo, but she kind of gave her own kiddish aspect of it that I thought was kind of nice. So that was really cool. I also really liked the girl who played Nani in here. Um, I don't have too much to say about Nani just because, she's very different from the original movie and what they decided to do. Um, she's probably not quite as thick like she was in the original film, but she's still bad as hell. I will say that. But the girl that plays her and her interactions with Lilo, they're great, and of course that's the big heart that comes when it comes to that film. Let's see what other things we gotta talk about here. Just to get things sorted out. I really like the way they kind of incorporated certain castings from the original film. They actually brought in the actor that played David and Nani from the original movie, and I thought that was actually kind of nice, to where Nia Carrera, I guess, she plays a social worker who was also Nani in the original film, and you have Jason Scott Lee who played David in the original movie, and he's the boss guy at the Luau Center. And I liked the way they incorporated some of the original cast from the original movie. I thought that was kind of cool. Let's talk about Jumba and Pleakley for a minute. To be honest, I kind of liked what they did with them. Now I have some thoughts on Jumba and what they'll do with them. I like the way the actors played them. I don't know how to pronounce Zach Galifianakis' name. I don't know, but he was fun. And then, and to be honest, what was kind of fun about them, everybody kind of complained that, we're not going to be able to see Pleakley be a drag queen and all that stuff and wear girl clothes. Everybody kind of complained that they're now being in cloaking devices. To be honest, I didn't really have a problem with it. I thought it kind of worked, and it made for good comedy. Because honestly, if you just dressed them up in human clothes, it wouldn't really work. Because it's like in the animated film, you're able to get away with it because it's an animation cartoon. But at the same time, like, it's Disney, and they're able to make cartoony stuff and serious stuff work. So it's able to work. With a live action film, it's not quite as easy to do that. But I still thought the way they did it worked. I thought it was cool. I like the way they did Cobra Bubbles. I like that they kind of went back that he is a CIA agent in this film. They didn't make him quite a social worker, but they brought him back to his CIA agent roots. I thought that was cool. And then, of course, all the look of the aliens and the high priestess or whatever. She was cool. I don't know that's her name. I don't know. And I think that's really all the positives I can really say. Now let's just kind of talk about the main stuff that happened in here. So let's talk about Jumba for a second, because honestly, I think this was a major big flaw. So if you don't know, let's talk about just the character of Jumba first, with Zach Galifianakis playing him. So if you don't know, he plays him throughout the entire film, both in human form and in voice form when he is the alien. And I'll be honest, I don't think anyone agrees that Jumba fits the voice. I don't think this guy fits the voice. I don't think anyone could agree that Zach Galifianakis, or whatever his name is, I don't think he could ever fit that guy's voice. And not only that, I feel like, sure, he could have played him for Jumba, but I feel like there could have been someone different to play Jumba when he's in alien form. Maybe like a Russian accent, because that's what he was like in the animated film. So, I don't know. I couldn't really care for his voice. And then also, to make him the main villain, I think kinda sucked. Because if you don't know, they removed Gantu from the movie. The Gantu's not in the film. And Part of the reason for that is because they just didn't have enough budget to put him in there, which I find that kind of lazy because it's a Disney movie, and Disney should be able to do all this stuff for the money that they make. Like, how can they not put these characters in? But the way that he got changed, I thought was just kind of weird, and I don't. It's like he was more obsessed with getting the mission and stuff, and it kind of messed with the relationship between him and Bleakley, and he kind of just worked on himself. And so, yeah, I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of him, but I did kind of like the way that he was played. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it, but it was okay. The other thing that's a big major change is the whole Ohana and really the character of Nani. Which, if you don't know, so they kind of go a little bit more into how Nani and her parents and stuff like that go into the film. There's all these talks about Ohana and all that stuff. And there's even an interesting line that they say that, like, why don't we follow what Mom and Papa wanted? Because we were forgotten. That was a very hard line that I thought was kind of emotional. But the whole key of Lilo and Stitch is Ohana means family. Family means no one gets left behind or forgotten. And they have this whole subplot where Nani had to give up wanting to go to college because she had to raise Lilo, but at the end of the film, she essentially just forgets Lilo. Now a lot of people say that this just it betrays the whole point of the movie, because the whole point of Ohana is you cannot forget people and leave them behind. But if you really think about it, first off, they made it clear that in order for you to care for others, you need to care for yourself, because, like, you've tried everything you can, and obviously, from the way it looks, Stitch is able to stay here, and you got all these people, but at the same time, it's like, now that Stitch is here, it probably could have been good, but at the same time, it's like, you gotta be realistic about it, in that in order for everything to work, you gotta focus on yourself in order to care for others. So I think it made it a realistic approach, but also, she's not really being forgotten. It's not like she's going to an orphanage and waiting to be raised by someone. They're letting them stay with her neighbors. So it kind of ruins it, but it's also kind of sweet, even though, I think the whole marine biology plot line should have been the surfing, and I kind of do wish they dived more deep into Lilo and Stitch's parents and parentage should. I don't know. I thought they could have dived a little more into that. And then the final thing I want to talk about here is really just the character of Stitch. I think that they should have developed him a little bit more. The fact that they removed all the ugly duckling stuff, which is such a prominent thing to his character, that he's trying to find a sense of belonging. They don't really do this in this film. But at the same time, you kind of feel bad. There are some moments when you do feel bad for him. So I'll give it credit. So that's kind of my review for Lilo and Stitch. To be honest, I kind of expected a little bit more from this movie, considering, and unfortunately it didn't, but it is what it is. The only thing I'm really hoping from the next Disney remake, which I actually have no idea what the next Disney remake is, but I hope with these remakes, if they decide to make more or take a break from them, when they get back in production, they need to find a way to actually make them better and choose the remakes that we should not remake. Well, I think the next one is actually Moana, so That's going to be a little interesting. But anyway, that's my review for Lilo and Stitch 2025. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on the live action Lilo and Stitch? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? What were in between? And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.